In this lesson, we are going to look at how to enqueue CSS in a WordPress plugin. Now, we've already covered how to do this for a theme, so some of this may seem familiar. However, we will have to change a few little things in terms of file paths and stuff like that. So let's start off by activating our plugin enqueue CSS. And once we do this, we can see that actually the CSS right here on the admin page has changed, and it now has this white background and border around it. I'll deactivate it just so you can see what I'm talking about. See, notice how the styling is gray now when it's deactivated, and we activate it and that gray is gone. And we have basically just taken the .wrap class and added some padding and color to it, which it does not normally have. So we can see that the CSS is hooked up. What we've also done on the front end of the site, if we view the site here, notice the blue background, and if I refresh it now that the plugin is installed, it is also displaying some CSS on the front end too. So both of these are important to know how to do when you're working with a WordPress plugin. So let's take a look at the code for this. All right, if we come in, we can see that we are including, here again is our plugin directory path. And notice that we are also using define now to set up a PHP constant for the plugin directory URL, and this will help us with our styles as well. So we're enqueuing all of our styles inside this includes WP plugin styles folder. So we'll go open that up, and you can see here that we have two functions. We have our WP plugin admin styles, which is obvious what that should be doing, and our front end styles. And each of these are going to be including different CSS files. And the architecture we have here is we have an admin folder with CSS. You might have templates, you might have JavaScript or other things, and then we have the same folder for front end and a CSS for front end as well. Now you may architect your plugins differently, but at some level it can be helpful to split off front end and admin styles and code from each other, and that's what we've done here. So WP enqueue style we've seen before, we give it a handle. We are using our constant that we set up here to help us get the proper path to our plugin, and then from there we're saying go into the admin CSS and grab that admin CSS. And of course, you only want time during development. You want to change this to some sort of versioning, and we have no dependencies set up. So what is different here is that we are hooking into admin enqueue scripts. In the past, we hooked into WP enqueue scripts when we're working with themes, because this is only going to load on the front end. So we load our admin CSS, and this will load on all pages, and then we load our front end CSS by hooking into WP enqueue scripts. So it really is as simple as that, although one thing you might be wondering at this point is, how do I include my admin styles only on my admin page? Maybe I don't want to style the entire admin area, and that is possible. We'll look at that in an upcoming lesson, but first we want to switch gears and look at JavaScript. So before we do either of those things, really take the time to open these files up and try creating your own CSS files and linking to them. Make sure that you could do that whole process and that you could see those changes show up and everything works properly, because loading CSS when you're building a plugin is going to be something at some point that you almost certainly need to do.